we want to get into taxes. So kind of a disclaimer, this is not financial advice at all. This is not a substitute for professional financial advice. I definitely really don't know what I'm talking about as far as the nitty gritty of actual tax law or anything like that. So that's just specifically just talking about how to integrate your tax systems with MemberPress, how to invoice customers and stuff like that. But definitely seek the advice of your trusted tax professional or financial advisor before making any changes to your business. So the first thing I want to cover is how to invoice your customers on your MemberPress website. So the main tool that we have for this is the PDF Invoice Add-on. Currently, it's available with every single MemberPress plan. This will allow you to yourself actually download invoices for every transaction on your website. Then it'll also send a PDF invoice to your customers when they make a purchase. So to use this, first, right on your MemberPress website, you just head to MemberPress, Add-ons, and then find or search for PDF invoice. And then you'll just click right here to install. It'll look like this. Install add-on, you'll click to install and then activate it. And then once that add-on's activated, to set it up, you just go to MemberPress settings and info, and then just make sure that your business name, your business address and city and all your information is filled out here. And then right here is a section that'll be added called PDF invoice settings. You can change all kinds of different things. So there's two different templates that you can use, the modern and simple. We'll see what the modern one looks like today. You can fit all sorts of different paper sizes that we have listed out here if people are going to print your invoices, and then portrait or landscape. Phone number that'll show up on the invoice, the email. You can upload your website logo, your brand logo, business logo, whatever you want. And then these dynamic tags here you can use to populate other areas of the invoice. So the invoice number format, there's one that's already preset here, the invoice number. You generally would just leave that set as the invoice number, but you can actually click this drop down and use whatever tag that'll correspond to your business information, whatever you select here for that field. The invoice number, which you'll set, you can see how to do this in our support documentation, but it's pretty much just like where you want your numbered invoices, what number you want it to start at. The business address, as it'll show up on the invoice, that's your business address, how it'll show up. So it's like your business name, your addresses, and they all correspond to the address that you have in this field here under business merchant address. And you have some other fields that you can fill out, the address, the customer's address format, some notes that you can have at the bottom, and a footnote section at the very bottom as well. You can select a color. And then once you have all that set, you just click Update Options. It'll save your invoice. And then once that's all saved and that's all set up, now when any customer makes any kind of purchase on your website, any membership that you have or any product that you have, they'll be able to access their invoice in their member account page. So just to kind of show you what that looks like, I went ahead and made a purchase just as me as like my site administrator user. I'll go ahead and go to my members area. So this is the actual member account page on this website. I'll head to the payments tab and it'll look different. I think there's a column maybe that's added if you're not using our Ready Launch styling for the member account page. So if you're using a different WordPress theme or a page builder, they'll still be able to access this PDF link. It'll just look different to you if you're not using Ready Launch. So this right here, my account page is styled with our Ready Launch styling. They just click these three dots, and then as the customer, this is what they'll see. They can click on PDF and they can download it from here. And here's a little bit of what it looks like with that modern theme. So it's just a simple invoice. It's got the bill to name, the invoice number, the date, your business address, a little official brand seal here that lets them know that it's paid, and then some notes at the bottom. So they can download this for their records. Your customers can print this off, whatever they need to do. It's just like a more official invoice if they need to file it with their taxes or whatever they want to do with it. And then also you as the site administrator will also be able to download this invoice as well. Oh, and another thing too is in your emails. So if you do have the payment receipt email notice enabled, it'll also attach to their the email. So they'll get this, let me show you. After every purchase, your customers will get this payment receipt email, and then attached to it will also be the PDF if the PDF invoice add-on's installed. So they'll get that right to their email as well. So that they don't even have to manually go into their account page to get it. It'll be emailed to them automatically. And then you as a MemberPress site owner can also download the email if you go to MemberPress Transactions. And under every transaction, if you just hover over the transaction ID, you'll see PDF invoice. All you do is click on it. and you'll have the same exact view where you can download that invoice or just look at it as well. So that is how to get invoices and send out invoices. Again, right now, currently, is that right, Jen? This is available with every single plan of MemberPress right now.
Let me see. I have to remember on that one. But I do know that people like it because it's pretty universal. You can, if you're in England or wherever, you can always modify it. So you're able to put some stuff on there because, there's always address changes, from country to country. So.
Yep. So that is the PDF invoice add-on. And then also right here on the add-ons page, again, if you go to integrations on memberpress.com. This is also a really good place to get a link to the support documentation articles for whatever you're looking for. And then also our blog posts will be listed here. So if we have a particular blog post announcing this add-on or with more information, a lot of times the blog post will cover use case scenarios or examples more extensively than our support documentation would. So right here on the integrations page of any kind of add-on that we have, it's also a good place to get to our support documentation. So all you do is click on documentation, and we have a tutorial video with a full-length view of how to set that up as well, in case you need to reference it later, and our full support documentation on how to set up the PDF invoice add-on. This integrations page is just a really good place to get anywhere you need for information about any of our add-ons. The next thing that we want to cover is actual integrations with tax services or just how to collect taxes on your MemberPress site in particular. So if you go to MemberPress on WordPress, settings, and the taxes tab, if you want to start tax calculations on your site, you just check this. And then you'll see all kinds of different options. I'm not going to cover all these too extensively today, but I just want to kind of get in here and show you the different options that we have available to calculate your taxes. So you can really choose whether or not the big one here, and you can also do this per integration. So you really got to go to our support documentation and then whatever tax service that you're using to really get an idea of how to set these up. Because I know Stripe has this option as well, but you can also set it here, and that is if your prices are entered are exclusive of the tax or inclusive, which just pretty much means like if you select inclusive, you're actually charging the customer like the price that they see, the price that you set will include the tax. And then exclusive means it's kind of like going to an actual store or something where the tax is then added on to the price. So you can choose how you want your taxes to be calculated. And then down here under tax rates, you can integrate with Stripe Tax. So if you're using Stripe as your payment gateway, you can enable and use Stripe Tax. And we have a whole documentation page about this. And they have a really extensive documentation page on Stripe Tax. But if you're using Stripe Tax is honestly a really good way to go as far as dealing with taxes. We also have an integration with TaxJar, so in Quaderno. So if you're using TaxJar or Quaderno, or is it Quaderno or Quaderno? I don't know. I think it's Quaderno. You just enable it here. You'll put in your API keys, and then whatever settings that you have on either TaxJar or Quaderno will take effect and be integrated on your website. I think TaxJar is just included by default, but you do need to go to the add-ons page and install the Quaderno add-on for this to show up. Also, you can calculate VAT taxes if you are in a country, which is I think most countries around the world, honestly, to handle your VAT taxes. And then also, you don't even need to integrate with a third-party service if you don't want to. Under custom tax rates, you can actually upload a CSV file with all your custom tax rates. So there's different websites that you can construct the CSV file with. And so you can just get an updated list of different tax rates for different jurisdictions, different states, different countries. You can put it all in a CSV file, upload it, and it'll be handled on the back end using that CSV file. And we do have... If you go to, and maybe we can post this in the chat, memberpress.com/doc/taxes, there's a custom tax rates section there, and it'll give you all kinds of information on how to do that CSV file. But this is a more manual approach. I mean, if you just have like a very simple website, maybe this is the way to go if you don't really want to pay for an additional tax features on a different service. But it'll have a sample CSV file that you can download right here that looks something like this. And so this is kind of what it would look like. So you would just create a big CSV file with a state code. This one has a country code, state code, different cities, different rates. So you can manually type in whatever you want to charge here and then just upload this CSV file right in that section. But this page here is a good resource for how to do taxes manually. It also has a VAT tax section. On my site, I have Stripe already enabled here. So if you just enable Stripe Tax, you'll just select Stripe, and then Stripe Tax will be handling all the tax rates. So once you do this, you come in here, you just hit update options, set it up however you want. And then on Stripe, again, they have a pretty extensive support documentation on how to do this, but pretty much how it would work within Stripe, you would set in your registrations, you would just set your jurisdiction or your location. It's all based on like jurisdictions and locations. So I just have it set up for just an example is for Texas. And then in here as well, you can set up what sort of product that you're going to be selling, which corresponds to different tax codes. And again, you can really tell I don't really know what I'm talking about with with actual tax law here, but all of the stuff in here is pretty much how you set up your tax collection within Stripe. And then you can also set up your wallets in your payment methods. So with Stripe, I mean, it's pretty much like our most common way to collect payments on MemberPress, I think. And even in here in the payment methods, you can kind of activate all these different payment methods that you want. And the Stripe tax works with all of it. So it's just however you have your taxes set up within Stripe, you can use all your different payment methods right here. And then Stripe tax will work right on the back end. And then if you go to docs.stripe.com/tax. Here's everything you would want to know about how to set up your tax situation right in Stripe. So they really do a good job of detailing this very, very extensively. And then as far as on the MemberPress side, we have this article using Stripe Tax with MemberPress on how to set it up within MemberPress, a little bit of what I just showed you, but there's a lot more information about Stripe Tax, using Stripe Tax, how to set it up within your Stripe dashboard, how to set it up in the plugin. So really be sure to check this out. We can drop this in the chat using Stripe Tax with MemberPress. And the same thing, if you're using Quaderno, you would just go into your Quaderno account, go to your jurisdictions, put all your locations that you're registered with or that you're going to collect taxes in, and it should all be set up there. But I'll just open my site here, one of my registration pages in an incognito window so we can kind of see a little bit about what this looks like. On my site, I just have, just for a really simple explainer here, I just have Texas set up as my location. This is a front end, what my customers would see when they go to my website. So they would just go to sign up, say they want to buy the Pro plan, and then they would just fill out their information. Main Street, let's say Dallas. And then I would select Texas or Dallas area code here. And then once they have their location, and then say I click off, you can see that Stripe Tax in the background is calculating the taxes, and I have it exclusive of the tax. So you have the price of the membership. It adds the sales tax for that region right here, and then it adds it to the total. So right here, all I did was just connect my Stripe Tax, configure that, and then it integrates right on the page, and it starts charging taxes right here. So it gives them a breakdown in the pricing table, and everything just works here. And then they can go ahead with Stripe and use their credit card. So that is pretty much it. We also have this page here, configuring the taxes tab is sort of your main hub for getting your tax collection set up. But we also have just separate pages for setting up VAT taxes, which you can see right here. We have one for installing the Quaderno add-on. Again, that's a MemberPress add-on that you'll need to install, and then how to link up your Quaderno account right there. We have a pretty extensive video on that right here on this page as well, and using TaxJar as well. So whatever service that you're using, whether it's TaxJar, Quaderno, Stripe, you can integrate it with MemberPress and use that. Also, we haven't really tested a lot of these out per se, but there's a lot of potential integrations and automations actually if you're using Zapier. So I just have the TaxJar page pulled up. So if you go to zapier.com/app/membership or MemberPress, you can see all the different sort of pairings that you can make with Zapier and MemberPress. So I just typed in tax here in TaxJar. And again, we haven't really tested these specifically, so you'll have to kind of trial and error whatever you want to do. But you can maybe come up with all sorts of integrations. Maybe you're using another tax service that we don't directly integrate with. You might be able to create some custom automations that can do certain things. So for example, even though we do have a direct TaxJar integration, maybe you want to say when a transaction is complete, then something will happen within TaxJar. Show a refund, maybe calculate sales tax for an order, validate an address. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but this is mainly, I just bring this up mainly because if you're using a certain sort of tax software that we don't integrate with directly, you might be able to kind of rig up something in Zapier to sort of make things happen and automate your tax situation a little bit. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell as far as how to integrate your taxes, calculate your taxes, start charging for taxes within MemberPress. Is there anything I'm missing, Ben, that you can think of as far as taxes?
Mainly just kind of agreeing with you because Zapier is really good because it works on that if-then mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you don't have the right trigger, but if you go over to Zapier or on Kenny Automator or any of those, you might find what you need. And especially like you said, you can just kind of hook it up to a lot of other stuff. So if you want to add your stuff to Google Sheets or maybe give yourself a notification when the taxes reach a certain point, it's in theory possible. So yeah. It's pretty cool.
Cool. If you liked the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos that makes getting MemberPress up and running a breeze.